all of my content is I want to make people laugh.
Yeah.
And never in a million years did I thought I'd get big. I was like, me, a content creator, influencer, what?
At what point in your life did you start dressing in dresses?
The meat section had seen me wearing a skirt and started screaming and yelling that I was destroying, and I was I'm little and cute and these looks ain't gonna last forever, and I'm very aware of that.
That's hilarious. What was the transition like from going from a day job to this is your full-time?
But the transition was interesting because I've been working at that point for 15 years, basically 60 hours a week for 15 years. I'd only taken one vacation.
I wanted to know because in your bio you call yourself your gay auntie.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Actually, it started probably about 2.5 years ago, and I try to use my platform for as much good as possible.
Right.
Whether it's making people laugh, smile, feel good about themselves, or learn. But Rainbow Youth Project is a small nonprofit where most of the funds they bring in, everybody's volunteer that works for them, and so all of it and they help LGBTQIA plus youths and teens get help.
And this is why I love the podcast, because we're way two different people, but
exactly.
We're here understanding that other people are going through stuff.
Exactly, and I think that's a big issue lately is that people lose the ability to empathize.
Let me ask you about your accent a little bit. Hey, welcome to Too Hard, Too Fast podcast. In this episode, I'm here with Shining Nathan. I follow you on Instagram, so yeah. I know that your Instagram is huge. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about your social media presence, because off camera we were discussing a little bit on, you're making that move to where this is full time for you. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of us that are in the social media aspect, like that's our main goal, like make it, that's the dream, at least for me.
Yeah.
Eventually I want my day job to be this. Podcasting. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about, your style, how you got into social media, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
That sounds beautiful.
Perfect. So let's sit back, buckle up. Let's go too hard, too fast.
Hello, this is Shining Nathan. We're about to go too hard, too fast.
We're here, baby, and we're shining.
Always. Yay.
All right. It's funny because usually I wear headphones so I can manage my breathing. Yeah. And I feel like right now I'm definitely breathing heavy.
Well, I do live on the second floor, so it's okay. It makes us all huff.
Yes. So, well, in that case, this is an awesome backdrop.
Thank you.
But it's home.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're very welcome. Not many people know about my house or where I live.
Yeah, we're not gonna say where.
No,
this is the inside of it. I won't show you the outside. But you do live here in San Antonio, Texas, for now.
Yeah.
Okay. I know we talked off camera. You're thinking of maybe moving someday?
Yeah, I'm thinking. I've lived my entire life in Texas in general, and I've always figured if you want to truly experience all of life, spread your wings and see life in another city by living there. Some people are content with living in one town their whole life, and that's fine. There ain't nothing wrong with that. It's just not for me.
Right.
And I've been here. I've lived in Texas 36 years now. My mom just passed away. I figured, why not move out of state, see what life is in other places, and state with actual seasons instead of the two we got, either scalding hot or cold.
Yeah, right. Yeah, or hot and hotter.
Exactly.
Which is right now. We're in the hotter section.
And I was jogging earlier, and I was like, oh, is this the same heat that my father picked watermelons in? It cannot be.
Dude, no, I can't imagine it is. I think we've just our world has gotten hotter, and that's not a political statement.
It's just you can feel it.
Yeah, I can feel it, and I can feel it in my shirt. All that sweat. What initially brought you to San Antonio?
Honestly, and I'll be fully honest, it was a change of life.
You can also not, though. You don't have to be honest with me. It might be a little fun that way.
Okay.
Too hard, too fast. I'm not checking facts.
Okay. It was a change of life. I'd lived in Houston for about 8 years prior to this, and then I gotten tired. I was a director of marketing and operations for law firms, and I got tired of the rat race and other life events, and I was some friends from college were living here, and I visited one of them. I visited two of them. They were living out near Converse. And one weekend, I was like, I'm just tired. And I had so many other things that had happened dramatically in my life. And I was like, I'm just tired. She was like, it just sounds like you're done. I was like, well, you know. And so she was like, fuck it, why don't you move here? Am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. And she was like, fuck it, why don't you just move here? I was like, you know what? Sure. Because I was had that mindset of climb a corporate ladder. And so... went back to Houston on Sunday night. Went into work on Monday. I was like, I'm giving my 2 weeks, and it was a law firm. Loved the law firm. Don't get me wrong, I loved it. I was just tired.
Yeah.
Because working there as a director, it was one networking event after another, and it's very cutthroat there in Houston. And so they were like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah." And a week and a half later, I was living in San Antonio about 8 years ago, 2016. Wait. No, sooner than that. I forget what time's passed so much.
No, it's all right. But was there your thought process versus the risk? Well, did you keep that in mind, or was that even a thought? Or did you have anything in place when you were already coming over?
All I had was a friend whose couch I could stay on, and I had a good resume. And to be honest, San Antonio is one of the least risky cities you can transition. I always tell my friends, San Antonio is the grandma of all the cities in Texas. She's 300 years old. She's not going to chew you up or spit you out. If you're always going to be able to find a cheap apartment somewhere in San Antonio. You may not like the neighborhood
part,
you may not. It may not be a nice neighborhood, but hey, you're going to find an apartment for $800 a month, $600. Back then, I could find an apartment for $500 a month.
I think that was my rent when I first graduated college. It was $600, and it was decent apartment, not sketchy. I think maybe it depends where your apartment in the complex was. But for the most part, I was safe.
I've never felt in danger in San Antonio. I mean, I lived in Houston for 8 years, so and I grew up in the barrio back where I'm from. So it's like, oh no! When I first moved here, I stayed with them for a month, and then I moved to North San Pedro, over there past North Star, in that little weird area.
Yeah.
And so that was a little rough. The apartment was okay,
Yeah.
But it was like $600 a month. Big apartment too. I love that place.
That's funny. I've never heard anybody describe San Antonio as, like a century-old lady, and that's not gonna spit you out and chew you. Or, that's, and it makes total sense. I have thought, eventually I will move out of San Antonio. I will venture out, but I am also very much rooted here. I'm not from San Antonio originally. I'm from a small town in Eagle Pass, but I've been here since 2005, so I've kind of labeled myself a local.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of rooted to where I'm like, do I really want to move out? If I do move out, is it just to Bernie or New Braunfels? But no, so the sometimes my wife and I will talk and we're gonna do it. We're gonna move. But we'll probably move far.
Yeah.
But then we don't.
I mean, I always say, screw it. Why not? I mean, there's a big world out there. Why not experience it? And I've been here for 8 years, and like I said, she is the grandma. She's not anybody that moves here, especially my friends that are coming from California. They're like, I'm gonna stay fit. I'm like, that's gonna last 3 months, okay? Because it's a different pace here. It's very slow. Doing business is different here, and I was working for business firms and things like that, B2B type of marketing direction. And so it's an entirely different pace. It's very much don't give a fuck, just to be honest. It's like me going out in public wearing this. Most people don't care. The most I'll get is a dirty look or somebody call me the F slur, and I'm like,
Here in San Antonio?
Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the most hate I've ever gotten is actually in Austin. But like I tell people, Austin just has a facade of tolerance. It's not really tolerant, especially if you're brown. or anything darker, it's not that tolerant. So, but
and I'll say I love Austin. I grew up, my summers in Austin. It is much different, but it's funny. It's I was just in Austin for a few weekends ago, and I was saying there's there's a sense of we accept everybody, but we don't.
And I've gotten profiled there several times.
They're not weird anymore. That's the thing.
No, and it's very yuppie. And then I'll wear this. I don't give a fuck. I can fight, so let's go. Yeah. But in Austin, I've been called F slurs and things like that. Here, I don't really get much hate. I can go out in this. I can go out in a muumuu. I can go out in a short skirt, and the most I get is an ugly look from some guy. Yeah, and that's really it. Because people are.
Does it bother you?
No. I'm 36 years old, and ain't nothing gonna buy. If you want to throw hands, let's go. I may or may not win. That's not why I'm doing it.
Yeah, but that's true. But don't invite that in here. we don't want that nonsense.
No, but
San Antonio, it's true. The thing is, I say that all the time. It's I'm ready to go whenever. But yeah. I prefer not to.
Yeah, but San Antonio is very much a city live and let live, and don't harm our own. Yeah. And it proves it every single day. Because most people have been to the gay strip, most people have gay friends here, and everybody just kind of figures out how to get along. And if you see people fighting, it's because they got personal beef, it's like the Fiesta Sucia. It's because, or you see those fights, it's she was sleeping with her man, or he was sleeping with her. It's something.
It's all connected.
It's usually always something personal. Yeah. And if you see a fight here,
it's funny you brought up the fact that you brought up having friends that are gay, and it reminded me when I kind of started trying to set this up with you. I reached out to my friends who. It's gonna sound like we're I have my friends are gay, but my two best friends are gay. Yeah, and we have a chat group that we stay connected that way because one's in Boston and one's in Dallas. And the one in Dallas was like, dude, I know him, I follow him, he's funny. So I was like, that's all I needed to know. I was like, I followed you already. It was that little stamp of approval.
Oh, thank
extra.
You. Yeah.
Which I don't know. I mean, you're obviously awesome in your own right. You have created a community for yourself.
Thank you.
So, but having that, him, Victor, to say, yeah, he's awesome. He's funny.
Awesome.
And then my other friend was like, well, I don't know him. And he started checking you out. I think he followed you, hopefully.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, if not, Fern, let's go. But I was going to go somewhere with that.
It's okay. ADD be doing that.
Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but other than giving the shout out to that, he obviously is a fan, but man, there was a point to that. Anyways.
It's okay. We'll get to it later. Always.
I know, because you were saying the F word, slur word. To where Victor, he uses it a lot. When describing himself.
Oh yeah, we use it. It's like when people of African American descent use the N word with themselves. We use it if we're making a point, because it's our words. It's that process of reclaiming the word that once used to harm you. If some rando on the street calls me that, I'm like, oh yay. You ain't gonna do shit about it, You're gonna walk off in a huff, and I'm gonna go about my day, The only time I did have one issue, and I didn't even know what was happening, because I'll go grocery shopping with my headphones in. I don't know how people raw dog the air and sound, but I have an audiobook whenever I'm at HEB, and all of a sudden I'm just like do, and somebody taps you on the shoulder. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's this older guy. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. Perfect. And I'm wearing something like this, and I was like, yeah, I'm okay. Why? It's like, what, you don't know? I was like, no, what? Evidently some guy in the meat section had seen me wearing a skirt and started screaming and yelling that I was destroying, and I was like, oh, and you could still hear it. I was already halfway across the HEB by this point. And didn't have a clue, and it's lucky I didn't. Yeah. Because if I'd heard it, I do have a temper. And so, especially if he was ranting and raving like that, somebody just calls me, does a pop off, okay, whatever. Yeah. Most people, that's if they're going to do anything, that's what they're going to do. Yeah. This guy I could still hear him. I was like, well, he's lucky I didn't hear him. Because I don't care how old you are. You an adult, or you feeling froggy, I'll go. Okay. You can be 65 years old. You start running that mouth. Well, these hands will like to connect with that. You know.
Yeah. At what point in your life did you start dressing in dresses?
Actually, funny enough, as a boy, because I used to do drag years ago. Now, and it was more, the drag was an artistic expression because my background was in theater. But I stopped drag about 8, right before I moved here, because it was tiring.
Yeah.
I started getting booked for stuff, and I was like, no, this is a hobby, an artistic outlet for me. I have a full-time job. And so actually about 4-ish years ago, late 2020.
Okay.
Because I dressed very plain except for bright colors, t-shirts, shorts, and there was one day where I was like, this is great, but could be better, you know? And it was the moment where my don't give a fuck kicked in. It's like, why the fuck can't I wear a skirt? Why the fuck can't I wear a dress? It makes more sense because our plumbing's out the outside, just lift it up and pee. Pants don't make sense for men because it cuts into our junk. The Scots had it right with their kilts.
Oh yeah.
But it was that none of this, the rules are made up and the points don't matter.
Yeah.
And so I started exploring wearing skirts, and my mom was like, are you wanting to become? I was like, no, I just find it comfortable. And I like it. It makes me smile.
Yeah.
And why the heck not?
Right.
What does any of this matter? What we put on our body if it's not to make us feel good. And it was about November, December 2020 where I was like, I put on my first skirt. I went over to Goodwill, bought one, then I bought one on Amazon, and and it was just like, why not?
Yeah.
And it's fun exploring clothing. It's fun exploring what it is that brings you joy when you get dressed. When you look in the mirror, I'm like, you know what? I like that.
Yeah.
And so I've gone so many different routes in my clothes. Like last night I was wearing this, overall thing. And I loved it. And it allowed me to explore myself more, because conservatives in the comment section of my posts are like, oh, I bet he has pronouns. Like, yep, and it's not the one you think it is, because they always think, oh, he's there, she, her, you're a man. I'm like, yeah, I know I'm a man.
Yeah.
I'm he, him, baby. And that's and of course there are other people with other gender identities who are going through a similar journey, who present as they, them, she, her, and those are beautiful too. It's just I like wearing it.
Yeah.
So it was a very interesting process. My mom, bless her, she was born in 1951, and it took her a minute. She had no qualms. She was like, well, my son's always been who he's going to be, and he's going to do what he's going to do.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Nice.
So that was kind of my journey.
Do you consider it like cross-dressing, or you don't? It's not really that?
No, I mean, because for me, it's just clothing.
Is that even the correct term anymore? I rarely hear it anymore.
I don't believe it's a correct term anymore. If I had a better term, I would give it to you. But I know, for me, it's just clothes. Because all this is fabric cut into a shape.
Just style and fashion.
It's literally like all that is fabric cut into a shape.
I mean, I'm the worst. I'm just like,
as long as you're wearing what you like. I had this one.
I don't. That's the thing. The thing is, I don't like thinking about what I'm gonna wear. So on the weekdays, I pretty much know. It's like a uniform. My daily uniform is just like, I don't like to think and ponder about what I'm gonna wear.
I mean, heck, some days all I'm doing is wearing a muumuu, and I'm like, that's it, because I don't feel like having to go through my entire closet.
Yeah.
But it's all it is once you deconstruct that all this is fabric.
No,
it don't. And what does it matter? Once I die, and then another few years after that, ain't nobody gonna remember me. Or another generation or so, who's gonna remember me? And there's something freeing in thinking about that way. Yes, it's kind of bleak, but in a way, it's like it gives you the freedom to live your one life, because all we're confirmed is one life on this blue marble, as authentically to you as you want to live.
Yeah.
Because I'm Catholic, so as I tell people, it's like, as a Catholic, we're hoping that there is an afterlife, and through our faith we believe there's an afterlife. There's other religions with their own, it's cool, but we're not confirmed another life after this, so why not live this one we are guaranteed right now as authentically as we want.
You're here, enjoy it.
Enjoy it, live
that makes sense.
It's beautiful.
Let me ask you about your accent a little bit. Is this a regional accent, or did your mom have this kind of accent?
My mom had a part of this accent too, because she lived up in what's the area called?
And I'll tell you this because it's one of the first things that attracted me to your story. I mean, not stories, but your content.
Yeah,
I was like,
well, I picked it up partially from my mom because I've had so many voices and things, but she lived, and then there's other things. She lived up in Waco for a chunk of time with her ex-husband, and not my father. My father, no. And then a lot of it is a lady's allowed to have her secrets.
Right.
But yeah, it's been a fantastic journey of growing and learning with it.
Fair enough. I won't pry into those secrets. But I did want to bring it up because it's at least for me, in my opinion, I think it's one of the things that definitely catch people.
Oh, thank you.
It's a cool accent. To me, it sounds like Louisiana-ish, Cajun.
It's a little Louisiana. It's a little what is that area? East Texas?
Oh yeah,
Central? No, Northeast. I don't know. Like I know we're technically Central Texas, but also not. So
yeah,
people are
Central
like,
South.
Some people get real pissed when I say San Antonio, Central Texas. I'm like, well, what's going on?
It feels like it.
And it does. At least when you get on the north side of downtown.
Listen, yeah, especially if I'm back in Eagle Pass, San Antonio, it feels very central.
Oh yeah, especially when I'm back down in Corpus. The few times I go, it's like, oh. Yeah, we're in South Texas.
Your social media, did you start this just as anybody else? Maybe just having your own presence as a normal person, or like I don't know what that even means. Like,
I was just an everyday person.
Yes, that's what I meant.
And honestly, that's how I tell people, because social media has changed.
No intention to like blow up.
No, honestly enough, before I got on TikTok, to be honest, and a friend had to force me to get on TikTok. My whole Instagram was me with like random cats and my cat and me working out, or me on a bike, or me doing random shit like Facebook originally started, like Instagram originally started. I had no intention of ever becoming an influencer, nor did I think I would. I never. Me.
Yeah.
And my friend, because I do enjoy making people laugh, making people happy. In pandemic, there was a lot of all of us stuck at home, which I personally liked being stuck at home. I didn't get these people like, oh, we got to unlock. I was like, why? That's people outside.
Yeah.
Get some hobbies. I was like, a lot of y'all that just want to get out don't have hobbies. That's the problem. But my friend was like, get on TikTok. I was like, well, fuck. Okay, sure. And I got on TikTok mid-2020. And it was just me having fun. And that's kind of where my content was, having fun. And I was wanting to make people laugh. And that's most of all of my content is, I want to make people laugh.
Yeah.
And never in a million years did I thought I'd get big. I was like, me and content creator, influencer, what? And that was the intention I went into it. It was just another fun thing for me to play with online while I was stuck at home. And before I knew it, I think it was 2021, I started kind of growing in little fits and starts. And then mid-2021, suddenly I jumped from like maybe 50,000 followers, if that, to almost overnight to like 600,000 followers.
Dang. Okay.
Just from a few posts, because I started having more fun with it, and I give my genuineness. Of course, there are parts of myself I don't share, because there's things for me that are just for me, which has probably been one of the things that I have to realize. I'm still having to come to terms with being a content creator. Is like, if I do something, I do have to film or take a picture of me at it, especially places that are my favorite little local places, because I want them to get notoriety. Like my nail tech, I do try to post her a lot in my story because she's very good and she's local. I have 2 nail techs and I show them off, but aside from that, I had no intention. And when people ask me like, oh, you're so big, and I'm like, I'm just a gay guy with the cat in San Antonio that's, I personally believe, moderately funny, and I just like making people feel good about themselves, or laughing, or when I do political content, try to educate them. And do
you remember what was like one of your first pieces of content that probably blew up?
There was a couple. So I think one of the first ones that really blew up was whenever we were stuck during Snowpocalypse in 2021. And I did this kind of Norman Rockwell, I guess, where I'm looking out the window and it was talking like it's been 5 days since I sent my friend, and people, I was on the news for that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that one got me a good chunk. And then it was the magnesium citrate post that went viral. That one went huge. I think it has several million views. And that one, and I didn't even realize I'd had it posted. This was probably about July 2020. And I was working for a legal education company at the time as a director of marketing operations. And my employer was like, hey, fly out to Florida, because I was remote, to come, we can meet, plan, and actually physically meet. I was like, oh, cool. And I'd gotten there, and I noticed I got a notification, went to bed. And mind you, that post had been up for about a month now. I woke up, and I'm in a meeting, and had been on my phone, and I started noticing. I was like, what the fuck? And it was just notification, and they were like, quick. I was like, what the hell? I looked at my boss like, hold on. And he was like, what's up? And
Fuck what you got going on here.
Hold on. Hey, but he was very supportive of it, because he found it cute and funny.
Nice.
And so I looked at it, I was like, I was like, I'm at 600,000 followers. He was like, what? And so sure enough, it was that magnesium, and all my other funnier posts that had gone marginally viral, like 100,000 views, 200,000 views, things like that. To me, those were like, hey, I wasn't even looking. I don't even look at my analytics. I'm not one of those creators that's like, oh, that is more. And I use the word shameless not in a derogative way, and I hope you people understand that. They have that personality to take pictures, ask for things, and as they should. Honestly, I'm not that way.
What do you mean ask for things?
Like they ask, like, hey, I'm a content creator, will you give us a discount? Or they'll take posts in public, they'll do full posts in public, and that requires a level of shamelessness, which is not a bad thing. I need people to understand that I don't have. And a friend of mine, she is a big creator, I think a little bit bigger than I am, and wonderful, love her, but she has that mindset of like, hold on, we gotta do a post, I gotta do a post, and she'll do it. And she's a comedy creator and wholesome creator, but I don't have that mindset because I'm living in the moment. So I'm like, oh fuck, I should have done a post about this thing. So
no, I know what you mean. Like sometimes when I'm out meeting or recording with somebody, after it's all done, like even yesterday I recorded with this artist, and we went and had a few drinks after, and I wasn't really thinking about it, but usually I am to where like, oh, I gotta change my shirt, because I don't want people to be like, hey, what is that? And then I have gotten that to where like I went to a gas station to pick up a drink real quick, and the gas station, the guy was curious, like, hey, what is that shirt about? I go, oh, my friend has a podcast. It's a Too Hard Too Fast podcast.
I get recognized, and I try my best sometimes by going incognito where you can't see my tattoos, and I don't wear a hat. Typically, if I don't wear a hat and you can't see my tattoo, people can't put everything together. Sometimes, though, people have caught me after the gym. I'm like, I'm disgusting. I'm a hairy Latino man, babe. I'm disgusting. I just did a 2-hour gym session. You want a hug? Okay. But I'll get recognized in dang near Biloxi, Mississippi at a random gas station. That's what happens. So
being recognized, even let's say even outside of San Antonio, you mentioned even if you're like in a random gas station and you get recognized, is that still a new feeling for you? And what does it feel like?
It is a very new feeling. And honestly, getting the notoriety, the fame I guess I have, it's changed my life. It still sometimes comes like me. Oh, shit, that's right. I'm me, you know? Because like I had a photo shoot in Savannah, Georgia with a fantastic photographer who was just starting out. And I'm very much about love helping people. So she was like, I'm just starting out. And she does beautiful work. I was like, screw it, I'll take a road trip to Savannah, Georgia. Why the hell not? And I was in some BFE. I wasn't anywhere near any major city. And it was a random like Loves in Mississippi. and got out. I'm gross. I have been on the road at this point for like 13 hours. And for some reason, you sweat in a climate-controlled car. It's more than you do working out. And I'm disgusted.
I sweat sitting on a couch, as proven
I mean,
right
that's
now.
fair. The winter unit's way over there, so this place is hot. And it works for me because I like being warm. But all of a sudden, the gas station attendant's like, oh, it's you. I was like, hi, honey. And she was like, can I please take a picture? And it's happened every road trip. When I was on a road trip up to San Francisco, but I took a long way up through Colorado, Wyoming, and all that. 3 times on the way there. In the most random of places. And then in San Francisco, somebody recognized me. I've been recognized in Denver several times because I go to Denver regularly. Somebody recognized me in Chicago. And at 1 million followers on TikTok, it's going to make sense.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be a smattering of people everywhere. Here in San Antonio, it happens regularly. Just yesterday, I was with my manager, and we were at Michael's, and then one of the people there, hello, honey, if you watch this, she was like, it's you, and I took a picture. I always take a picture, unless I'm like really tired. But it's changed my life a little bit. Like, I can't be. I've always been a wild one, you know. I'll go out and drink and get better. I love my shots, but it's helped me for the better because I regulate how I drink. Because that's the thing they need to see is Shine and Nathan, their gay auntie, full fucked up, being Fiesta Sucia at freaking Pegasus, you know, which is the gay bar here in San Antonio.
Yeah.
And so it's especially because people will randomly video me. That was the most shocking part because we've been out and thankfully it was a regular like.
I've never thought about that. That's
It's weird because thankfully it was like a normal Friday night and we didn't go hard. It was just my friends and I hadn't seen each other because they had been traveling, I had been traveling, and so we're kind of like very low key. I'm in the back of the bar, and we're just chit chatting, and I got a little lightly tipsy and came home, and. Next thing you know, I'm like going through, and all of a sudden I see a notification. Somebody messaging mentioned you, and I always try to check my mentions in case somebody wants me to, you know, give a good word to somebody or something. But I saw that, I was like, "That's a bar," and I clicked to it, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's somebody standing at the front of the bar of the karaoke side of the bar." Had gotten on a stool and was videoed me and zoomed all the way in.
7X.
And just like, there I am, clearly hat and all, just chit-chatting with friends. I was like, thank God I wasn't making out with somebody because I do that. I can be a puto, and I know that very well. I know myself. But I was like, shit, okay, so that means we got to kind of watch what we do now, you know?
That is crazy. And saying that, it reminds me of one of your posts, where you said, I will hook up with somebody on the first date if you know if I'm
a millennial.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, I'm going to sleep with somebody on the first date. It's an interview, and I want to know everything. And
I'm gonna put you to work.
I'm gonna make it before I put you to work. I'm gonna sleep with you on the first date. I don't want to get to like the third date and find out that you're horrible in bed or you can't kiss. No, I did that once upon a time. I know, no, and I know. Based on it, and I'm perfectly open about it. I can be a little bit of a puto. My mom knew what she had as a son. My father had 20 kids, so it's like it's a family legacy.
Yeah, no, I was flipping through, and that one came up, and you went through the whole thing, and then at the end you go, I'm a slut.
Right, well, I am a slut.
Like that. And it was something like that to that effect. But it was so perfect, like the perfect ending for like it was like all serious.
Also, I'm a slut.
Yeah,
and it's true. I mean,
you can hear my wife going, "What are you laughing at?"
And you know, it's those things. A lot of people are sluts, and now we're becoming with monogamous or non-monogamous people, whatever. And I'm monogamous when I get in a relationship as a base. But if I'm not in one, what's the point? And somebody even commented that like, oh, so you have to go on full dates in order to sleep with us. I was like, no, honey, I have my maintenance man. I have my maintenance man who come, you know, serve my needs as needed, and I'm little and cute, and these looks ain't gonna last forever, and I'm very aware of that.
That's hilarious. But yeah, going back to like being recorded randomly, I can imagine like now as you grow in popularity, it's only gonna get worse probably. And then sometimes it's not for malicious intent. Like it's
No.
just that somebody's excited. Like, oh, I follow him.
Yeah.
That's so cool. We're in the same location.
Oh yeah, no. Most people, thankfully with my followers, they're either scared of me, and usually they're just excited to see me, which is beautiful. I've never had a malicious instance. I've only had one instance, which is one of the reasons why I moved to the apartment I am now. I missed that other apartment. I moved from it for two reasons. One, because somebody recognized me and knew where I lived, and I was like, I don't like that. Two, they'd raise the rent. I was like, I'm I'm not paying $200, $300 more for this place. Y'all tan locos. No me mames way. But yeah, it's gonna get worse, and I acknowledge that. And my friend I've turned into my manager. I've signed a contract with him. Now he's very mindful. If we go to if he arranges things for me, he makes sure that the bars know I'm coming. Just to I'm just a gay guy with a cat, but it does make sure that I'm safe, so the security knows, hey, just to be a little bit more aware if anything were to happen. And nothing has, thankfully, but it's just he's very protective, but it makes sense. I can throw hands, but I don't want to. But most everybody that comes up to me, I'll give a hug, I'll take a picture, and that's fine. But it's just excitement. They're excited to see me.
That makes sense. What I do, and what I've said before on this podcast is that George real life or Jorge real life is not the podcaster Jorge. This is a character. Yeah. But only because when the character sometimes likes to go out and go too hard, too fast.
I know.
But I'm in character, So if somebody does record me, it's like, dude, I was just in character.
Other thing is, for the most part, what you see online is me. It's a piece of me. I don't give my full self because some things should be for me, But there are pieces that people do have an expectation of, and I've been showing more of myself. I'm like, I'm chismoso. I can't help it. My mama was chismosa. So many pictures of her leaning across her bed, looking out the window. I'm metiche, and sometimes I like to fight. I have a temper, which is probably also why I don't drink as heavy, because I have my mom's temper. My father was very loving. My mama, she could fire off the handle if she was drinking. So I'm like, oh, we carried that, so we're gonna be more mindful of that. Thank you for giving me that, mama.
It's good that you recognize that, but are you constantly trying to keep yourself in check to not lose temper?
In a way, yes, but also I don't need to.
Because right now, obviously, since opening your door to me, you seem very relaxed.
Oh, I'm very relaxed, but I'm okay. A whole conundrum. I am a very anxious person when it comes to certain things, but I'm very relaxed, happy-go-lucky. My temper will only flare if it's something very egregious, and I do keep that. It's not like, oh, everything's gonna annoy me. I mean, a lot of things are going to annoy me. It's not gonna piss me off. I've come to know I'm gonna be annoyed about something. I also got that from her too. But at the same time, it's like life. I also have I love life. I enjoy people, and I enjoy having people over and things like that. Excuse me. And so it's all parts of me. So I'm very relaxed, very calm, very happy. But there's I am very anxious when it comes to my podcasts, my podcast, my talk shows and things like that. When it comes to time, and then my temper will flare. Say if somebody starts talking shit to me, well, my mama always taught me never to back down, so I'm gonna talk shit back. So that goes 0 to 100. Somebody starts shit with me and I'm drinking. Oh, there's no. It's 0 to 100. My friends, thank God, all my friends are bigger than me, because they can. One instance, a couple years back, one of them was like, "Nope," picked me up and walked me out, because they were being. I was like, "Oh, you're being disrespectful now." We're both about to be disrespectful, and one of us is gonna be crying. Thankfully, that was one of the few times I was actually already over my usual limit. So, but usually when I'm drinking, I'm gonna wind up making out with somebody.
Fair enough. You mentioned your comments a little while ago, and then some people that go into your comments are not as friendly. And do you have that following, that that Taylor Swift following, where people are gonna
Yeah,
go
and
after that comment.
I shamelessly use it.
Yeah.
Honestly, because especially in the last, since my mama's passing, I don't have the energy to deal with them. So occasionally I'll see a crappy comment, I'll just block them. It
Yeah.
brings me joy. Or the way the algorithm works, and this is kind of shysty, but I'm like, you know what? You wanted it. You wanted attention so bad. You wanted to say something very mean on somebody you don't even know, and that people have gotten very bold like that. And it's people that don't follow me that do that, and so. Or don't know, and so I'll just comment. And because of the way the system works, is if I've commented on a post, it puts it up higher up in the comments.
Yes.
And so when people look at the comments, they see somebody say something very crappy, and I've responded to it in some sort of cheeky way, then they're going to dogpile on them. I was like, well, this is the attention you so desperately wanted.
Yes.
Because I'm very much, people have gotten too bold and feel they can be rude for no reason.
Unfortunately.
They're lucky that I'm who I am. You know, I'm very secure in who I am, and what they say doesn't hurt me. But there are other creators out there that are either like people that are non-binary or trans who are trying to explore themselves, who are more sensitive, and they get these types of comments, and that can be very harmful to them. Yes, people say, oh, it's just a comment online. Okay, yes, but does it need to exist at all?
Right.
Why do I have to have a thicker skin? Why can't that person be kinder?
Right.
And that's why I think that's what people have forgotten. It's like it's always putting the burden on the person
For
being
you
harmed
to be better, or,
to
yeah.
be thicker skin.
Yeah.
No, why can't that person just be a kinder person? Why
Right.
can't they keep their comments to themselves?
Yeah.
We've lost that. And in a way, I let my commenters let them know and to bring shame back again, you know? And so I'll just comment something, and before I know it, that person has like 50 or 60 comments of people dogpiling on them, and then they're like, huh, I didn't mean, and then they'll just disappear. And it's like, you're going to learn your lesson, honey.
Fair enough. Yeah. And I was just curious about that. We'll move back to a little more positive. But, you know, it happens to people, and I was just curious how you handle it. So now that you've grown in popularity and you're in social media, you mentioned you have a manager now. What was the transition like from going from a day job to this is your full time? And also because I think maybe I read something or heard something wrong to where I believe you did like charity work or work for a charity.
Oh, well, I'll answer the first part. The transition was interesting because I've been working at that point for 15 years, basically 60 hours a week for 15 years. I'd only taken one vacation in that time, 15, 16 years. And so I realized I was so burnt out. And mind you, the company I worked for the guy was very nice, very good, but I was just so burnt out. I was working 60 hours a week and I was salary. That was the problem about being a director at the director level. I was salary. So, and it was just, I was burning out, and I never thought that I could make my following into monetary. At that point, I was getting a little bit from the Creator Fund, a little bit here and there from tips and things. I was like, okay, cool, thank you.
Right.
And then a friend of mine was like, why don't you just fucking go for it? There's a platform called Patreon. You can get paid to make your content and give them longer form content and bit closer access to you. I was like, and so one day, I remember I'd had not a mental breakdown, but I was just like, fuck. And I said, you know what? Screw it. And I'm going to take the leap. And I quit. My boss at the time was very understanding. The CEO, only a person above me, was like, are you for real? I was like, yeah. He was like, well, that's really cool. I wish you all the luck. And there's always a place for you here. And I took the leap. And sure enough, it took off. And so I make content. That's why I post at least once a day, and I have my two YouTube channels and the attached podcasts and Patreon and all these other things. And I do charity work. I work with an organization called Rainbow Youth Project, and I try to use my platform for as much good as possible.
Right.
Whether it's making people laugh, smile, feel good about themselves, or learn. But Rainbow Youth Project is a small nonprofit where most of the funds they bring in, everybody's volunteer that works for them. And so all of it go, and they help LGBTQI plus youths and teens get help, either suicide prevention hotline, homeless LGBTQI plus teen youth housing, mental health. That is very much needed, especially with all the evil rhetoric that is going around the country.
Yeah. Is that here in San Antonio or like nationwide?
It's nationwide,
Okay.
but they're a small. It's like it's like a team of 4 people.
Oh, wow.
Working very hard to try to help
Yeah, I
these
can
kids.
imagine.
And so they're making a big impact because these kids. There was a song from a play called "Into the Woods," and it's "Careful the things you say, children will listen." And people often take that the wrong way. Children see what you say online, and they see all the hate that's against the LGBT community and the trans community, especially lately because of all the alt-right bullcrap. And they see that, and they see people that look at their moms, their aunts, uncles, dads, brothers saying such horrible things, and these kids are like, well, people like that are saying that. They look just like my parents, and what's the point of me existing? And or on the inverse, the children of those people see it's okay, and so they bully those other kids that may be trans, that may be gay, that may be lesbian, whichever proclivity, and that further pushes bullying. So Rainbow Youth uses all their funds to help, and so I do a lot of work with them. We raised $10,000 for I believe she was I forget. I've helped several. LGBT teen had passed away through suicide, and their parents were not ready. So we raised $10,000 for the funeral and to cover the expenses of that. Right. They were actually out of Houston, so I do a lot of work with them, and a couple of the nonprofits as they come if they need help.
Yeah, and when you're working with them, it's more bringing awareness or bringing in those funds.
Fundraiser, because and in actuality it's twofold. Yeah, because at the time I'm trying to bring fundraise, it's bringing awareness that this organization exists for people that we've had tons of people who like, I didn't know this organization existed. Now I can try to find help for my daughter who's male to female, because a lot of people have the misrecognition that people the trans teens, they're starting to do hormones. No, it's just social transition, and like, hey. And my mom, who was 72 before she passed, actually put it right there. She was like, because we have one of my little cousins, my cousin's child, has come out to us as non-binary or trans, and all of us are like, well, this is their journey. We're here to kind of guide them a little bit, but ultimately it's their life. Right. Even though they're 12, 13, I forget how old. But it's like, we would prefer them to explore themselves and further understand themselves. Because if they actually are trans, beautiful. But if it's just they realize as they're exploring themselves, I just like presenting feminine. But my pronouns are still he, him. My mom even's like, we would rather them explore themselves 1,000 times and have them here than have to bury them. Right. And they are still people. It's a person. It's not something. We don't own them. They're their own person, and so we're just here to love them and support them. Right. And that's what a lot of people are starting to learn. Anyway, a side tangent.
No, that's perfect. That's especially I didn't know this particular organization existed. I've heard of others, and also most of them small. Yeah. And within their own community, or even smaller, not tour like it's a whole citywide tour. It could be just friends and helping each other, kind of thing.
And San Antonio has a lot of those smaller. I met this organization online, and they're currently doing a lot of work in Oklahoma City. They're trying to break in to working more in like the Valle, in McAllen, Harlingen area, because that area has very few nonprofits for LGBT, very, very few, if any, to help people down there. And of course, there's gays in the Latin community, as we know. Duh. But yeah, and there's a lot of smaller nonprofits here in San Antonio también. So,
and I will say also, like in Eagle Pass, it's when I first started. Not first, but I guess first in Eagle Pass, because I always thought like Eagle Pass was a little bit more close-minded, and it has all changed since I actually lived there. But I met, actually, he was a guest on the podcast, a councilman from Eagle Pass, Elias Diaz, and he has a small organization to it there, and I'm gonna get it wrong. I think it's called Eagle Pass Pride. And I hope I'm not saying it wrong, but it's kind of along the same thing. Like they collect clothing and just necessities for people that are probably either got pushed out of their family or making that transition. And then transition, I mean, like going from
being with the family to having family
being on their own, and so it helps them in that way, or just guiding them, like you said earlier. So that's really cool to see that, especially because I don't want to say I'm an outsider looking in, but I can. What's the word? I mean,
you can empathize.
Yeah, like I'm not living through that situation.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that situation will look like, but I get that perspective from my friends or from meeting people like you that are in that life and helping others.
Yeah.
So, and this is why I love the podcast, because we're way two different people. But,
exactly.
We're here understanding that other people are going through stuff.
Exactly. And I think that's a big issue lately, is that people lose the ability to empathize because people think that, oh, I was straight once upon a time and then I became gay. No, honey, I've always been gay. I was a gay little ass boy that grew up in a gay adult. It's a same thing with like trans people. There was always that. It's just living your truth, and eventually there'll be a day where you can just be. It's just people lack the ability to want to empathize with what happens. All the time in my comment section, people would tell me, oh, that's not what that is, and they try to tell me what my people are going through. I'm like, baby, I'm a whole ass homosexual, honey. You can't tell me what my cult, you as a straight white man in freaking XYZ city can't tell me. It's like somebody say, oh no, the real problem with your house is you just didn't paint it white. Like, no, ho, there's mold. Like, like I know nobody knows the problems more than I do.
Yeah.
You're not going to know them.
Yeah.
And the fact that they want to, especially the people like that, you just want to be right. You don't want to listen to understand, to empathize. And people are starting to learn to empathize. It's just they don't want to break past their bubble and see, hey, maybe I was a shitty person once upon a time. And people don't like to think themselves that way. But a chunk of people have been shitty people.
Yeah.
And it takes facing that, oh, shit, in order to become a better person.
Yeah.
And some people don't want to face it. Maybe you were a shitty kind of person.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Or just didn't know that it was wrong. Because I've said this before, and thanks to my friends that I mentioned, they kind of like let me know, like, hey, the way you use the gay word, it's not. And
that's something,
cool.
and that's a different aside where you're unlearning things that were harmful but unintentionally so. But there are people that don't want to admit they're homophobic and using homophobia to harm the community by trying to come up with other excuses. No, that's not what's facing your community, versus that's gay. Yeah, it's like unlearning something like, oh, I didn't know that was bad. And sometimes it just takes it's like you're a step away, like, oh shit, okay, you're willing to correct it. That doesn't mean you were a bad person. It just means you were saying something that you didn't quite realize. But there are people that are actively homophobic or XYZ that don't want to face the fact that their actions are genuinely harmful and they're kind of being a little bit shitty. They don't want to face that because nobody wants to see themselves as a shitty person. Nobody wants to have that self-realization.
Right.
And so they don't. And they don't want to empathize because the moment they give up that I know what's right, they then have to look introspectively and be like, oh shit, I have been kind of a dick to these people by not listening to them because I am being part of the problem and they're trying to correct me. Because often it's like, oh, you're trying to divide us. Like, no, you in this act of not listening, I'm trying to show you a problem so we can fix it together. Kind of like what you just said. Like what you went through with like a friend correcting you, saying that was gay, that brought y'all closer together.
Oh, yeah.
They were explaining a problem to show, hey, we know you're a good guy. This is a problem. Oh, okay. That brought you closer together. Other people don't want to do that. And so me saying, hey, this is an issue, people are like, you're trying to divide. It's like, no, I'm trying to show you the problem so we can fix it together and move on.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is. And people don't want to see it that way.
Yeah. I get it, and hopefully, and sometimes it does seem like it's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I think it is. It's
and I get it. Like, you don't have to like completely be in the life, like,
no,
you know, go and make gay friends.
No, but gays
understand.
exist.
Yeah,
we exist. You know, all of us exist.
Estamos aquí.
Sí.
We're kind of closing up. I love the conversation that we're having, and I would love to do it again.
I would love it too.
If you ever are, thank you. It's on camera, so now it's binding.
I know it's contractually binding.
No, but this is cool, and I love that I got to meet you.
Thank you.
You know, I guess. No, I don't know. I would say, nah, never mind. I'm just gonna.
We'll say it. It's already out there.
Well, I was just thinking like, thanks to Alicia C. You know, she introduced me to.
I love Alicia C.
And I kind of like feel like, wow, well, what this would feel like if I found you organically, and followed you, because after she introduced me to you, obviously, I'm on your stuff. I'm looking. So I kind of like, I'm thinking, well, what this would be like what kind of preconceived notion or maybe any nervous feelings of meeting you would be different. I was nervous in the fact of like is he? Well, he's invited me into his house. Like, is this gonna be weird or awkward?
Yeah.
But no, from the get go, awesome person to meet.
Well, thank you.
So just wanted to throw that out. So for whoever meets you, I mean, I feel like I can vouch for that. Like,
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
For whatever that means, coming from me. But I do wanted to finish up in a couple questions. The last one's going to be for your Too Hard, Too Fast story. It could be a funny story, a cautionary tale, or words of wisdom. But before that, like, still thinking about your rise in social media and using it for good and helping others and just bringing a smile to people. What is something that you've learned by doing it that you never thought would actually be so like you've never like the realization of it, like now that you have like this growth?
What is something I wouldn't have expected that I ever would have become big? But one of the things I did learn is somebody's gonna be mad about something.
We're supposed to be positive.
Well, no, it's positive. No, I'm about to get to the uplifting point. So do what you want to do on social media.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to go into social media and you're scared about the haters, there's always going to be haters. Do it. There's going to be somebody who's going to love what you're going to do. And that's just, you may not, if you're in a niche like I love crocheting little animals, and that's the thing you make on social media. Hey, that's going to be a niche that some people are going to like. There's a niche for everything. But for me, I know certain people do go out there to become famous. I didn't. Have fun with it. Life's too short not to have fun with it. And screw the haters. Somebody's going to hate on something anyway. You know?
Yeah.
Might as well let them hate on something you're enjoying doing.
Do you think that has that ever been to the point to where like maybe one day you'd? Or actually, no, I don't want to go that route. I want to ask. Now that you're in this being full time, and you have your Patreon, was there a moment that you thought, wow, I shouldn't have quit my day job and this is not gonna work out? Have you had those thoughts?
I've had it twice, and that's mainly because people are going to leave Patreon as they're allowed. You know, they wanted to support a couple months, and that's fine. Or people hit hard times, and my income had dropped significantly. But that is also my own fault. I'm horrible at self-promotion, at telling people I have a Patreon, and remembering to post at least once or twice a month that I have a Patreon. So that's also on me, you know? And so there was a couple times I'm like, shit, fuck, we're good. We're going to, but try to keep on it. And if I fail, hey, at least I did something instead of not. Right. You know? In a year or two, if I find out, oh shit, I failed.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was a big size social media content creator for going on 3 years, you know.
That's not bad. That's not bad to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's most, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's true. And then I think regret will be worse than failing.
Yeah, honestly, because I never even wanted to get on TikTok. My friend Eliza had told me, you need to get on TikTok now. I was like, well, shit, okay. And so I did. And honestly, I've loved it. I've enjoyed it. I've met so many beautiful people from across the country, and there are a lot of great creators out there, big ones. Even some of the big ones you may not think are are very nice people, actually are. I met some creators that are at 7 million followers. Wonderful people to meet.
Yeah.
I occasionally have a FaceTime drink with one of them. So
nice.
Yeah.
Too hard to fast story. I hope I gave you enough time to think of one.
Oh God, too hard, too fast story. I'll give you one of my mama. So my mama, most of my family is older, but I always have to remember my mama was about that life. She was 4'11", and this is where I get both my don't give a fuck sometimes. Is that my whole family kind of beats by their own drum. My mom and my aunt were the ones that raised me. My aunt was the one that was just big flashy. And my aunt, we were at my cousin's house, at my uncle's house, all by the fire pit. My cousin, she says, she was having issues with her mother-in-law. She didn't like her. She was like, oh my God, the mother-in-law's here. And my aunt's like, shit, we were in one small town. We had to go to the other small town where my cousin lived in 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away. We're like, shit, Nathan, get in the car. We're like, all right. I'm right there. I'm a little tipsy. Anyway, and so we hop in my car, and my other cousin, who is my age, or my little cousin was the other one that we're going. She's like, I'm down to go, because we think we're going to fight. My aunt's always ready to fight. Thank you. And so we hop in the car and we peel out. My mom's like, ¿Qué estás haciendo? And because my aunt's the 10 younger sister, about 10 years younger. And so we're driving, and my tia's like, we're on our way, because we thought that my little cousin's sister-in-law was going to start shit. No, but my cousin was like, it was just somebody turning in the driveway. She's like, God damn it, Chelsea. And so Nathan, turn around. So we turn around. We haven't been out of the house. We just left 2 minutes ago, So we turn around and get back to my uncle's house, and I see a truck is pulling out, and another truck is like, what the fuck? Start flashing the lights that pull back in. And so both trucks pull in. My mom gets out of the car, and she's like, she throws a brick out of her purse, 2 bricks out of her purse, and my uncle's like re-racking his shotgun. My other cousin, she's like throwing a big metal pipe back into the brush.
Dang.
I was like, what the fuck? And mind you, these people, my mom, my aunt, my uncle, they are over the age of my mom was in her 70s. My uncle's in his 60s. I'm like, and they're rickety. Rickety is a strong wind will push them over. I'm like, ¿Qué estás haciendo? Like, we thought we were gonna fight. I'm like, no way, get back in, y'all crazy asses. And so that is, my mama was like, why'd you go? I was like, let's go get a drink, mama. We didn't let her drink anymore at that point, but I'm gonna go drink. And so that's my family.
Awesome. That is too hard to fast.
Yeah.
I know I said no more questions, but it reminded me when you said aunties. I wanted to know, because in your bio you call yourself your gay auntie.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Actually, it started probably about 2.5 years ago, when I saw people were just suffering, and I was like, I can stitch people. There was somebody crying about losing somebody. I was like, well, I'll be your gay auntie. Some people got pissed at that, like, you're not a woman. Like, it's just calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Some of y'all take things too damn seriously. I was like, I'm your gay auntie, and I just stitched the video basically giving them words of affirmation, because it was for them. And those started picking up, and I was like, I was literally just reaching out to another soul across the world who may not have anybody to give them some kind words. And that became kind of a series, and people were like, started calling me their gay auntie. And so it's kind of part of, I guess, my brand now as the gay auntie, because some people need a gay auntie, and certain conservatives get real pissed. Like, you're not a woman. I'm like, no shit. Right?
And I'm also not your auntie.
I'm still not your auntie,
but I can be if you want.
I can be. Like, I just can't. You take life too fucking serious. Chill the fuck out. Go enjoy some flour or something. I don't, but you maybe do what my mom did. Take a Vicodin and a Xanax and chill. You know.
Perfect.
But yeah, that's where it started.
Nice.
Was those little videos of like. Just reach, and because I genuinely did try to reach out to somebody, and I didn't care if they got 500 views or 10,000 views, because it wasn't for the views.
Yeah, it was for them.
It was for that person. And a lot of people started like, this is also for me. I needed this too, because out there somewhere there's other people sharing your experience, and being able to do that was wonderful. And I still do it on occasion when I get to catch them. Yeah, so I became your gay auntie.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love this conversation. Thank you for your time. Thanks for your hospitality. I definitely can't wait to do it again.
I look forward to it, Jorge.
I feel like we can talk forever, but we shouldn't. We probably shouldn't. But with that said, we've just gone too hard, too fast with Shining Nathan. And remember, dare to be you, dare to be weird. Bye.
Bye, my loves.
Está loco.